Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to unravel a really puzzling story coming straight out of Microsoft's AI strategy. It kind of looks like they're hitting the brakes and the accelerator at the very same time. So what's really going on? Yeah, let's dive into this, because it's a pretty big contradiction, right? You've got one of the biggest tech companies in the world warning everyone that they're running out of AI power. But then, almost in the same breath, they're launching brand new, super powerful AI models. It's got a lot of people in the tech world scratching their heads.
Okay, so here's where the puzzle really takes shape. All you have to do is look at the timeline. Back in April, you get this warning, hey, we're facing some capacity limits. But then, boom, just 4 months later, they're rolling out a huge new AI launch. So how on earth do you go from warning about hitting a wall to stepping on the gas that quickly?
All right, to really figure this out, we've got to look at the new toys Microsoft just brought out. I'm talking about the new models they just put on the table. This is really the key to the whole mystery. So first up, we've got My Voice 1. Microsoft calls this a highly expressive model. And what that really means is it's designed to generate speech that sounds incredibly realistic, like really natural. We're talking goodbye robotic voices. And this isn't just some lab experiment. They're already plugging it into Copilot and even their podcasting service. But here's the kicker. The speed is just incredible. Get this thing can generate a whole minute of audio in less than a second on one single GPU. That kind of efficiency, that is an absolute game changer. And it's not just the voice model. At the same time, Microsoft started public testing for a new foundational model they're calling MAI1 Preview. Now this is a big deal, because it's the very first model they've trained completely themselves, from start to finish, or end to end, as the tech folks say. It's basically our first real peek into where they're heading with their own AI.
So what's this model for? Well, it's built to be a super versatile assistant. It can handle complicated instructions, your everyday questions and queries. But honestly, its most important job right now is to gather feedback from people like you and me. That's how Microsoft is going to make their future AI even better.
Okay, so these new models sound pretty powerful, right? And you know what powerful means? Resource intensive. Which just makes that warning from back in April even more confusing. So let's go back to that for a second. Right, so just to put this in perspective, the warning and the launch were only 4 months apart. In the world of AI development, that is basically the blink of an eye. So you have to ask, what could have possibly changed in such a short amount of time? And look, this wasn't just some rumor floating around the internet. This was official. During their earnings call, Microsoft's own CFO, Amy Hood, came right out and said it. Demand for their AI services was growing faster than they could handle, and they were expecting capacity constraints. I mean, that's about as direct a message as you can send to investors and the whole market. So the billion-dollar question, literally, is what changed? How did they solve what sounded like a massive capacity problem so quickly that they could turn around and launch these brand new, power-hungry AI models? Well, the answer, it's a big one, and it's measured in billions.
It turns out the answer wasn't some quick fix. It shows that Microsoft was playing the long game this whole time. That capacity crunch they talked about, it wasn't really a crisis. It was just a symptom of absolutely massive demand, and they were already building for it, investing in what they call long-lived assets.
And when I say the scale of this is staggering, I mean it. Check out this number, $315 billion. That's their backlog of customer contracts. Think about that. It's like a giant flashing sign telling them exactly how much infrastructure they need to build. So they're not just guessing here. They're building for a future they already know is coming. Okay, so it seems like they've got the capacity puzzle figured out, right? All that investment, it solves the problem. But in doing so, it actually reveals an even bigger, more immediate challenge for Microsoft. So with all this new power, where does their new model actually stack up against the competition? Well, if you look at LMArena, which is a big-time ranking for these AI models, MAI1 Preview is coming in at 15th place. Now that's not bad for a debut. It's a solid start. But it's still way behind the heavy hitters like ChatGPT, Google's Gemini, and Grok.
And that right there, that's Microsoft's real challenge now. It's like they've built this incredible state-of-the-art stadium. They've got all the power, all the infrastructure. That's half the battle. But now they've got to put a championship team on the field. The other half of the fight is building a model that can truly go head-to-head with the best in the world.
So, this is where the real race begins for Microsoft. They've cracked the power puzzle, but now they're staring down a much tougher one, the performance puzzle.
This means Microsoft has to totally shift its focus. The race isn't about pouring concrete for data centers anymore. Now, it's all about refinement. They need to use this public preview of MAI1 to just soak up all the user feedback they can get and use it to improve performance fast so they can start climbing up those rankings.
So here we are. The AI race is getting more intense every single day, and the big question for Microsoft is totally changed. It's not, do they have enough power anymore? We know they do. The real question now is, can they turn all that massive investment, all that infrastructure, into a truly market-leading AI? They've built the foundation for sure, but the race to the top, well, that's only just getting started.